What are the best practices to get your SBA loan requests funded? On this episode, we're going to dive into all these factors and more in probably less than 5 minutes. So here we go. So SBA financing for business acquisition, you're always going to want to grab 3 years of business tax returns from the seller and year to date and recent balance sheet. For example, right now, 2023, most people have filed an extension. You're going to want to get an end of the year P&L with a balance sheet. So that's like number one thing to grab right off the bat on a business acquisition. Before you dive in and get frustrated, just do what you need to do to get that. A lot of people want to get pre-approval letters. There's really not pre-approval letters. We can get you qualified as a buyer, but there's no guarantee because it's really on an acquisition. It's really dependent on 60 to 70% or more is weighted on that business that you're buying. If you have good credit, no past histories, no BKs, things like that in the recent years, then you should be fine. Good credit score, not a lot of debts, haven't defaulted on any of their prior SBA loans, then the chances are it's probable that we can align financing. Now, most lenders want that business to be in the vicinity of where you reside. Not all of them. It's not a guideline in the SBA SOP, but I would say about 70% or 80% of banks say we want the business to be in vicinity of where this person resides. And so a lot of times you'll get declines because you take the deal to the wrong bank and they say, listen, you're going to be 10 hours away. This is not eligible in our book, but that does not mean it is going to be ineligible at other banks. So really taking the deal to the right bank or right lender is crucial from the start, because you can waste 60, 90 days and then at the end you get turned down because they can't get the underwriter to grasp that you can run a business remote, things like that. So just be aware of the underwriting box of that particular lender. These are questions you want to know up front, especially if there's any hair on the deal. You always want to know what those possible roadblocks will be and basically nip them in the butt up front so you don't get into those binds. Now, there's certain things like when you're doing business acquisition with real estate and it's a laundromat or any type of business, they're going to do a phase one environmental. Laundromats are notorious for having environmental issues. I should say dry cleaners. So just be aware of these things that come up on particular deals. So to be a ready buyer, you should have your Form 413 completed. Don't date it yet. Keep it on secure location on your computer or in the cloud, somewhere secure. Keep it updated. You want a resume, a bio. It's really good to show your experience and how it will relate to the business that you're buying in some capacity. I know a lot of times it's different industries, but you can correlate your skills. That's also good. You're going to need 3 years of your personal tax returns. If you have any other businesses, you're going to need business tax returns with balance sheets. You're going to need debt schedule if you have any other business ownership. If you own more than 20% of any business, they're going to want those tax returns as well. So just knowing these things really to make the process more streamlined so you can get a quicker yes is the point of this video for you. So like I said, most banks overlay the SOP from the SBA. So understanding where they're conservative might help you navigate the deal to bring it to the best bank possible. That's how I help in the equation. I help you figure out what bank to bring the deal to, help you size it up. And also initially, the big thing with getting the financials of the business, specific to the tax returns, spread by a banker is very important, because we want to make sure that the debt service coverage ratio is, typically we want to see 1.3 or better. Guidelines say we need at least a 1.15. So that's initial diligence. Like first, hey, will this business even cash flow with today's rates? And if not, how can we construct an offer to make the deal work and make it a win-win for both you and the seller? Maybe that's some seller carry back on full standby where we can take that out of the debt service coverage ratio. Those are the tips that we're really looking for in the beginning. But if you come prepared, you can actually get pretty quick feedback. Yes, we like the deal. Here's a term sheet. submit this additional checklist, and then it usually takes about, banks vary, but anywhere from 10 to 14 days to get a loan commitment. And then from there, if you need appraisals for real estate and so forth, that could take another 30-ish days, sometimes longer. But understanding the benchmarks and how to set the tone and the expectation. People always go, I heard SBA takes a long time. Well, a lot of times it takes a long time because they're waiting on appraisals. They're waiting on the borrower to submit documents from the seller to provide different accounts receivable reports and so forth. So it's really not that long of a process, I would say, on a business acquisition. You know, you're typically looking at 60-ish days. With real estate, it could be 90. We've closed deals in less than 60 days with real estate. We close smaller franchise startup deals in 2 to 3 weeks with one of our banks. Most banks on a franchise startup are still going to be about 45 days for a franchise startup. So just understanding that the tempo and the needs list, yes, you're going to have to complete a lot of paperwork, and especially if there's construction and build out involved in the deal, you're going to have to get, if there's plans needed, who the general contractor, if there's a significant amount of construction going on, that contractor usually has to complete like a financial statement for the bank. So just being aware of that information will help you kind of set the expectations, and then also make sure you get the right contractor in the front end, because if they're not qualified, the bank's not going to want to do the deal. So just knowing this up front will save you a bunch of time. If you're looking to acquire a business, stop scrolling on Biz Buy Sell and visit franchiseresellelistings.com. We'll do a customized search. You can get on our weekly distribution where we're sending new inventory weekly to your inbox. So visit franchiseresellelistings.com and opt in today. See you there. I think the last thing I really want to talk about in regards to making the process smoother and getting to the finish line is, look, we're all out there, and we're all, you know, there's a lot of people looking for business acquisitions right now. And a lot of the business brokers, they prefer cash deals if possible, right? They're going to tell you, oh, well, they're going to play hardball, especially if it's a deal that they think they can get a cash offer, because they want to get paid, right? They want to get paid faster, and they think, oh, SBA is going to be a problem. Well, it really is not that hard of a process, assuming we get the financials up front, and then we can quickly say, does this thing cash flow with the new SBA loan? That's step one, I think, personally. Step two is, okay, you should already know this. Is your credit good? You know, do you have is the business in vicinity of where you reside, or do you have a lot of experience managing these type of businesses and can show you could manage this type of business remote? You have good credit score, good financials personally, not a lot of debts, your global cash flow is in check, then from that standpoint, this seems like a deal we could progress into a closing at some point, assuming that all the other diligence comes back. So that's where you start. And so I guess when you're trying to get this ball rolling in business acquisition, just really be confident when you're talking to the business brokers. Like, even if this is your first rodeo, act like you've been down this path and you're seasoned, and just say, look, you know, I've already talked to 2 or 3 banks. I know I have great credit. I've got the capital, and it's really a component of the cash flow from the business when you're doing a business acquisition is step one. So learn how to speak to these business brokers. I know they can be a roadblock, but if you're looking to get that business, you're going to have to learn how to play the game. Anyways, hope this helps. I'll see you on the next episode. As always, please like, subscribe, and feel free to browse. We have hundreds of videos on SBA and all sorts of financing. So go ahead and do a search and look at previous videos, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey guys, Bo Eckstein here. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. We talk all things financing. I've been in the lending industry for over 20 years, and I'm happy to answer your questions and provide great content.